This is a Samurai Nation podcast on the Samurai Nation Podcast Network. All right, it's another episode of The Cool Podcast. I'm your host, Beowulf. I'd like to give a thanks and give a big shout out to all the patrons out there. We got some new patrons, so let's give a shout out because we've done that for some other patrons and they wouldn't be happy if they found out that I didn't give them a shout out. So, our newest, we got a couple patrons. We'd like to thank Tom Chain for being a patron and Howie for also being a patron. Thanks for being a patron and subscribing to the Cool Podcast and the Patreon. And there's other stuff that you get other than the Cool Podcast. So let's get into it. Let's start the show. That's right. It's the Cool Podcast, everybody. So, what are we going to do on this episode? Well, you're about to find out. We got some fun stuff to look at. On the last episode, what did we look at? All kinds of stuff. We talked about Gushers and we did the contest corner. We also did the pitchfork game, and that was a fun one to do. But we got more stuff. We got to revisit some of these other segments that we've done. We've got to give a plug to some of our other podcast friends over on the Samurai Nation Podcast Network. And shout out to Samurai Nation. So we're going to do that, and we're going to get into the Cool Podcast. It's going to be pretty fun. We got some fun stuff to do. So, let's go ahead and see what's going on in the contest corner. That was a fun segment from last time. I feel like I should give more updates as to what's going on with me and some other stuff and do more of like a preamble type thing. That's something that's kind of should be built into the show, but I don't have much to update, but there will be some updates coming up on this latest episode. It's going to be a big, crazy episode. We got some big plans. I can't say exactly what it is, but be sure to tune in to the Cool Stream.
The Cool Stream.
Because it's going to be interesting. We're finally going to get around to something we've been meaning to do for a long time, and that's all I can say. It's going to be pretty crazy. So, what were we going to do? We were going to get into the contest corner because we didn't have much else to do. So we might as well start doing some of these segments because that's pretty much what the show is. As you can tell, I'm excited. I'm raring to go. I have a lot of energy and I'm ready to do the show. I'm excited to do all the segments. But let's just start it off with this one. Let's see what's going on. I haven't even checked any of this stuff. And I do have a sound drop for it, so let's check it out. It's the contest corner. All right, what's going on in the contest corner? The place where we find all the best contests and where to earn all the money online is from contestgirl.com. That's about all we need to know about contests is from this great website. You can follow them on Twitter, Contest Girl. Let's see what's on Twitter from the contest girl, contest woman, I should say, Linda Horrocks. Linda, Horricks. I hope I'm saying that right. She is telling you about all the great contests going on. At Contest Girl. Here's one. Clarins Pure Scrub is a purifying gel scrub with lava beads and natural ingredients. It's great for oily or combination skin. Win it. To enter, follow this person and retweet. David Lackey. Who's this guy hawking these lotions and stuff? He's the editor, Beauty Departure Magazine, and Beauty on Air expert, Cityline with Tracy Moore. David Lackey. Cityline. So already we're getting... It's the Canadian... his website, the Canadian Beauty Awards. This guy is retweeting some kind of natural scrub. So let's see what this thing is about. Cityline. It's a daytime talk show for women, hosted by Tracy Moore. Okay. Let's just hear a quick clip from this. We're getting off track here. It's supposed to be all about contests and the contest corner, because that's what it is. Cityline.
Is the mother of invention, which is really fitting, because right now a lot of parents are inventing how to work it out during this time of self-isolation. One mom who's juggling at all is our own DIY ninja, Leanna Lerperot, LA.
She's a ninja.
We love hanging out with you. We know you're an awesome mom. I'm wondering how things have changed during the times of COVID.
Well, I've definitely had to let go of a lot of things, which includes iron shirts, just not high on the priority list anymore.
No.
And even pants. In a lot of cases, my boys are opting just not to wear them around the house.
What?
And I feel...
Put on your freaking pants.
In the first couple of weeks that I lived in the kitchen, making snacks, emptying the dishwasher, filling the dishwasher, emptying the dishes that stacked up in the sink, because my kids were snacking. They wanted snacks like every 15 minutes.
Quit snacking. These kids are snacking too much.
So I have now taken the initiative to teach them to get their own snacks.
Get your own freaking snacks, you idiots.
A very novel concept to them, and that is hand washing dishes, which they did not understand, because we've got this magical box in the kitchen that washes the dishes for them. But now they've learned to hand wash, and I can tell when they're getting a little lazy, because last week I caught them. They were just eating off of Tupperware lids because all of the bowls were dirty in the dishwasher. So,
these kids are crazy. What are they doing? They're eating off the top of Tupperware lids? And I'm not writing that down to save that idea for later, because that's kind of a good life hack. We haven't done a lot of life hacks on the show lately. There is a cool life hack podcast that we used to listen to. Anyway, he's a guy who's David Lackey, to book a David Lackey talk. All right. Does he have he probably has a podcast too, but that would be for the podcast roundup or whatever it's called. This is the contest corner. And he was saying that you should retweet this lotion or something. Anyway, that's just what happens. Sometimes you go down a few wormholes just to see if anything good's, anything interesting. And that was kind of a fun update. So let's see what some of the contests are. Let's get back on track. Oh, here's one. So she gives the lists of winners for the week, and let's hear what the winners are of the week. Let's hear what the winners of the week are in the contest corner at contestgirl.com. And one of the winners, congratulations to one of the winners here, Anonymous. What? Anonymous won chocolates from Purdy's Chocolatier. We hate Anonymous. We hate Anonymous, but they won chocolate, so congrats to them. I guess even hackers need chocolate. Susan S. won a $100 prepaid Visa card from the Lucky Charms Win Lucky's Gold contest. Whoa! Congrats to Susan S. And here's one. Aim to Misbehave won a coffee prize pack from @CoopCRS on Instagram and a $75 store gift card from a local coloring contest. Do some coloring and you could win some prizes. So I wanted to read a little bit about Linda, the contest girl. For those of you new to this site, let me tell you a bit about myself. I love to enter online sweepstakes and I love to win. Whoops, that's the wrong sound. I love to win, even if it's something small like a movie ticket or a football. That's pretty small. I spend hours each day finding and entering contests on the web, and I've won lots of prizes. I have won trips, Xbox 360s, 2 of them, wow, electronics, books, games, and much more. Every once in a while, something turns up in my email inbox telling me I've won another contest. And sometimes I'm surprised when I pick up my regular mail and find a prize parcel that has arrived unannounced. It's a lot of fun. Wow. There are thousands of sweepstakes and contests online. Most are legitimate and are run by reputable companies, but others can be shady and are simply a way of gathering email addresses. Oh no! The trick is to find the good ones, and this is where I can help. I do my best to find the most interesting contests and sweepstakes and list them here on my website. My work will save you hours. If you're going to start entering contests online, there's some things you should know, like how to get your browser to fill forms automatically. Oh, whoa! Whoa! Check out the link Contest Tips to find out how to do this, along with other tips I'd like to pass on with you. This website is still a work in progress. I've been updating the sweepstakes list daily, and I have plans to add new feature as time goes on, so please come back often. I love to win, and so will you. When you win something, send me a note, and I'll add your name to the winners list above. Enjoy, and good luck. Linda. Whoa, thanks, Linda. She will help you out. She will help you out in the contests. And one of the things you got to do is get a form filling program. It's probably the single best thing you can do to start. It will make all the difference between being able to enter 20 sweepstakes an hour and being able to enter 120 an hour. I'm not exaggerating. Every time you enter a contest, you need to type your name, address, phone number, and other information, your social security number, your freaking driver's license number. With the form filling program, you simply click a button on your web browser toolbar and the forms are completed for you automatically. I get that. I get the form filling out thing sometimes when I'm filling out stuff. You got to enter the sweepstakes daily, and you've got to be organized. The Contest Girl website can help with that. It's useful to all users. They've got features for serious sweepers. The My Contest feature is described in detail here, but briefly. And let's see what stuff she's won. Uh-oh, my past winnings. In 2012, she won a Cineplex movie admission combo pack from their M&M's Color Vote contest. She won a bunch of movie screenings. That's cool. Free product coupon for Simply Egg Whites from the Nature Egg Simply the Best sweepstakes. Whoa, a $500 Apple gift card from a local shopping mall. Now that's a good chunk of change right there. I might have to start entering some of these contests, but sadly, Linda says she's getting rid of the past winnings page because she doesn't have time to enter sweepstakes like I used to. My list of winnings is pretty thin these days. Oh no. I decided I'd keep it because some people might find it interesting and it will give you a good idea of what you can expect to win if you put a little effort into this hobby. And she'd spend about an hour a day filling out things for the contest. It was a way to wind down at the end of the day. She, instead of watching TV, she prefers to sit at the computer with the radio on and enter giveaways. Sometimes you win something very nice. All right, so I think that's enough of the contest corner. I know that people love it. It's their favorite segment. Let's do another segment. Why don't we? We've got a big one coming up here. Let's save that for a little bit later. And check out the show City Line, North America's longest running daytime show for women. And that's where we heard the clip about the lady whose kids don't know how to wash dishes. We've got another. This could be a new segment. People love this one too. This is just kind of what the show has devolved into, but we love it. We love it. Wow. This is a new segment here where we're going to look at the Tesh.com. We're going to look at some more John Tesh stuff. He's got some good songs. This is just the intro for the segment. I'm not just listening to this and rocking out. All right, it's the John Tesh segment or something. I don't know. I just made it up, so I want to look at. I liked the video that he did last week, and this is he does all these segments, and they come on the radio, is what I found out from people in the Coolstream Discord. That radio stations played his Intelligence for Your Life, and he did custom bumpers for the radio stations that syndicate his show. So it's pretty, but he has these videos are pretty good, but you can't watch them because it's a radio show. It's a radio show. This is a podcast. He does a radio show, and the video we're going to watch is a video. So you have to go on Tesh.com and check it out. It's the latest video. Let's see what he says here.
Well, everybody claims to hate housework, right? But a recent survey found that a surprising 90% of us actually enjoy cleaning. Here are a few scientifically backed reasons why. First, cleaning provides a sense of accomplishment. Psychologist Dr. Marla Diebler says that cleaning is one area where we can clearly see tangible results from our efforts. And studies show that when we can see progress, it makes even the toughest projects on our to-do list seem more doable. Another reason we love to scrub.
So the sound is it was just a picture of a lady, and it looked like she was cleaning. You got to see these videos. Doesn't really work for the podcast, but you get the picture. These are Intelligence for Your Life.
The Zen of housework. Dr.
Zen.
Rebecca Beaton is the director of the Anxiety and Stress Management Institute. She says that once you get going, doing chores actually creates a
We love doing chores.
That's because the repetitive actions required to vacuum,
We love
mop,
them.
or scrub the stove put the brain into a meditative state. And finally, cleaning is really good for your brain. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that housework triggers the release of mood-boosting endorphins. And the effect on our brain chemistry is so strong that it only takes 20 minutes of tidying up to significantly reduce the risk of anxiety disorders, depression, and other mental health issues. Plus, the absence of dirt and clutter allows your mind to rest.
Whoa. Yeah, I'll say I love doing chores. You know me. It's a fun and relaxing time, and it's about all that we can do these days. There's nothing much else to do except go out and do your chores, and then watch the show, watch the cool stream. The secret to making more money. Boost happiness watching tearjerker flicks. I've got all kinds of good stuff here on this here website. The Home Depot, get a great lawn. You want a great lawn? Go to Home Depot. We're not going to do ads for Home Depot. Come on, John Tesh. John Tesh, Relentless. Unleashing a Life of Purpose, Grit, and Faith. Let's check that out. Let's check out the book. John Tesh, Relentless. Unleashing a Life of Purpose, Grit, and Faith. It's a good-looking book here. We're checking it out. Let's scroll through, and we got 20 chapters in this thing. Let's see. Let's skip through the introduction. Got the introduction and then the prelude. The first sound I hear is a rhythmic, loud beeping that seems to be coming from a far-off place. Oh no. Is he on a freaking alien spaceship? My trapezius muscle on either side of my neck are on fire. The stabbing pain is excruciating, and as I open my eyes and attempt to speak, the voice that comes out of my mouth is 2 octaves lower than my own, with a timbre that resembles someone with severely damaged vocal cords. What? Oh my god, I think I've been in an accident. My voice is destroyed. My heart is pounding in my throat. I'm a communicator, an entertainer. My voice has been my livelihood for 40 years. The beeping is faster now. I feel a warm touch on my left arm. Oh my gosh, he was on a freaking alien UFO. He got abducted. Oh no. And then it says here, John, it's me, honey. You're in the recovery room. It went very well. You're okay. And it's Connie's voice, but you can't see her. There's a film over my eyes that prevents me from focusing, and that's the alien implants that are going over his eyeballs. Feels like trying to take a picture with the camera lens pressed against the screen door. Where am I? And his voice sounded like Darth Vader after 2 packs of cigarettes. Oh no. And he needs that voice. This is the Tesh book. I gotta read this. I'm sucked in now. Where am I? His keeps saying his voice sounds like Darth Vader. Marlboro Man has ridden his horse out of town and left one of the old Muppet characters in his place. What happened? What happened to John Tesh and his voice? He had cancer. Oh no. Well, that's not something that's good to laugh at and make fun of. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and edit. And this is the first time we'll ever have to do this. We're going to go ahead and edit that out. We'll put in an edit point here. Because we made fun of John Tesh having cancer. Wait, I didn't know. Here's a book by Kevin Sorbo. We can make fun of this guy. Kevin and Sam Sorbo. True Faith. Alright, well, we didn't mean to do that. We're sorry for making fun of John Tesh having cancer, but it seems like he's doing good now. He's got a website, tesh.com. He's got a radio show. His voice is great. His voice sounds great, and mine's getting worse as we go. So anyways, and we did that, but you're not listening to that because we edited that out. Because that's what we do, and if that got through, the Samurai Kid would be pissed, because I guess he loves John Tesh. He's the... Anyway, let's, okay. This is a rough one today, folks, but it's a good thing that we're moving on. Sometimes you just gotta move on and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I flubbed. Apologize to John Tesh and the Tesh heads out there, and I made an insensitive joke about him having cancer. So we get that out of the way. Let's go ahead and do the next segment, and this is going to be cool. This is a new podcast. Well, not a new podcast, but it's one of the many podcasts on the Samurai Nation Podcast Network. So we're going to play like a little clip intro from this podcast on the podcast roundup. It's just as soon as we can get this song to finish up. And it's kind of good if I maybe could have talked a little bit through that to really get the transition better. So that's something I need to work on with the show. And also, maybe not making light of people who are ill. Could be another one. I deserve that. Okay. I deserved that. Okay, we're going to hear this clip from a new podcast. Let's check it out here. But let's first do the big intro to that segment. It's the podcast roundup, everybody. We're going to hear a cool new podcast. The year is 1967. The place, Paris, France. A man steps out of a late-night tavern after a long night of drinking with friends. Things are going quite well for the man. He's just received a big promotion at his job, and his wife will soon be having their first child. The night is dark, and the man fumbles down the Avenue Victor Hugo. He's forgotten where he's parked his 1963 Aston Martin DB4 GT Zagato. As he looks down the boulevard, he can spot a familiar newsstand where he stopped later that afternoon. This must be it, he thinks. As he searches down the row of cars, he notices a lone empty spot. There sits a small envelope. He leans over, being sure to steady himself on the fender of a parked car. The envelope is white, with a picture of a red bird. He feels a pit in the bottom of his stomach as he opens the envelope. Inside it is a note that reads, "The Falcon Rouge strikes again." The man's head is now swimming and spinning as he tumbles backwards onto the sidewalk. He knows exactly where his precious car rests. This is My Favorite Carjacking, the podcast. Whoa, that's a cool podcast. And this is the cool podcast, but that's a cool podcast. You gotta check it out on the Samurai Nation Podcast Network. That's right. It's a show that used to be on the Michi's Podcast Network. It's a famous show. It's full of true crime and some of these creepy stories. And the show is called My Favorite Carjacking. It's about these famous car thieves from across the globe and across history. And I just love that story. I've heard that one before, but it's just great to go back and get to the very beginning of some very famous carjackings over in France in the 60s, which is a swinging time, and they had some cool cars back then. But there were people out there, and they were jacking the cars. Not that kind of not that kind. All right, so that was the podcast roundup, and that's a podcast that's on the Samurai Nation Podcast Network. So go check that one out. All right, we got some time to do some other segments. We might as well do that one. And we plan on having some more stuff about the Samurai Nation Podcast Network coming up. Some different guests are going to be on who have shows on the network. Who are going to talk about some of their shows. So that's in the works. That's some behind the scenes stuff that we're going to have on the next episode. On the next episode, yeah. Because I know everybody is wondering after we had that big hacker interview. They're like, when's the next big interview coming? When are all the guests going to come on? And that's what we want. But sometimes there's only so much you can do. And you gotta these things gotta line up in just the right way to make it happen. So anyways, it's just me doing segments and making fun of people who have cancer. That's kind of what we do on the cool podcast now, I guess. So, what's the next segment gonna be? This is one we haven't done in a while. So we're gonna jump over to this one. I haven't prepared a damn thing, but that's kind of one of the advantages of doing this podcast is that I just get to go and jump in and do whatever the hell I want. It's cool. So, we're going to jump into that segment right now, and it's a cool one, and I'm clicking around to see which one I want to do. So let's just go ahead and do it. It's a segment that we've done before. And I've got to get better at vamping until the song ends, because it makes for a better transition. And that's just a little behind the scenes, and that's what people are paying for on the Patreon. Thanks for subscribing. And here we go, the next segment. It's the Discord dump. It's the Discord dump is the segment that we're gonna do. So, what do we got? Which Discord are we gonna go down today? Of course, I mean, it's kind of hard digging into some of the weird Discords, which is mostly what we're gonna do. So it's a good thing I have a whole segment about that. But I'm in a lot of weird Discords for research purposes. I don't ever go and visit them and see what's going on. But I'm in a lot of weird Discords for research purposes. Let's get into one that we're hoping doesn't have too much weird stuff. That's kind of interesting, and it's a topic that we like, that is cool. And we haven't done it on the Discord dump segment. The Discord is called what is it called? The Occult Server. Oh, the Occult Server and Library. So I'm here in the main channel here. This has got the server information. A lot of these Discords have a lot of rules and stuff, and as soon as you join, you go straight into the rules. They've got some community guidelines and different rules and stuff, so that's good. They also have a very handy channel that has all of the channels listed, and they got 1 million channels. different things like energy healing, folklore, the grimoires, the Golden Dawn. We love the Golden Dawn. We've talked about them before. The Keys of Solomon, Left-Hand Path, all kinds of different stuff. This is the Occult Library. So if you want to go in here, it's kind of like a library of stuff. Let's check out the Keys of Solomon. Is that something that's going to be weird and problematic? It's just a book, I guess. So you can go in to their thing and check out a bunch of PDFs that they've posted. So this is where you're going to want to find some stuff about magic stuff, is on the occult server and library, where people are posting all of these PDFs and stuff to look at, which is pretty cool. So you can go check that out if you want to join in. The Lesser Key of Solomon is something here I've got pulled up. It's kind of cool. I don't really understand it, and I'm not going to read it, but I like to read what are some of the interactions going on this server. They've got different bots and stuff. The Sigil bot. What is that? What is that about? You can make sigils online with Sigil Scribe. Sigil generated from sigilscribe.me. Let's make your life magical with the Sigil Scribe. Enter your will below and submit the form. Watch your sigil take shape. What is your will? To be cool is my will. Go. To be cool. To be cool. Duplicate letters removed and it's converted into numbers and it's made a little symbol. That's not cool. Let's just do the cool podcast. That's my will. Let's see if we get a cool symbol. Wow. That's a cool symbol. So it mixes up the words, it removes duplicate letters and vowels, converts them to numbers, and then it saves it into this crazy symbol. So I'll go ahead and I'll post on the description the sigil for the cool podcast. It's pretty cool. So that's what you can get up to in the occult server and library thing, is the sigil thingy, the Sigil Scribe. So people are all making all kinds of crazy shapes in here. Mine is probably the coolest one. Some of these are kind of weird. I think I got a good one. There's also RuneBot. You can check out different runes or something. People are doing bot commands and stuff. This doesn't make for a good segment. So they've got GamesBot. Of course, we're not going to look into that. Let's see. How about witchcraft? Anything good in witchcraft? Here's one from Primal Witch. I know this is an older question, but if you live in the south where Spanish moss grows, we love Spanish moss. It gets hot and heavy down there, and you get the vapors when you're down there where Spanish moss grows. It had been used as stuffing in poppets for baneful use. Don't know what that means. It can have a tendency to grow so abundantly as to strangle its host. What? Oh no. Lots of symbolism, sympathetic magical uses there. Also, mistletoe grows on oaks, so you might find that locally depending on your region. Alright, that's this. You can use Spanish moss for doing magic stuff. And this user here says, Mobius, can anybody help me find out some ingredients for a hexing oil? I'm overwhelmed with the possibilities. And there's tons of possibilities when it comes to hexing oil. And Crooked Snake replies, what's your local flora have? What's your local flora have? I'd start there. Then Mobius says, I live on the East Coast, so we have lots of pines, oak trees, black walnut trees, some maples. The East Coast, and they're like, hey, I'm walking here. They got that too. Plant-wise, I'm not sure what would be useful though. I've heard of foxglove being good for this. And then Crooked Snake says, spiky, thorny plants that are aggressive. You probs have stuff like poison ivy. That'd be a good one. Now that's a good hexing oil, is some poison ivy. And if someone's like, I need to smell good, and you say, I got some good smelling stuff, put this on mix it with a little peppermint oil, and they'll put it on their wrist and say, that smells great. And then next thing you know, they're breaking out in poison ivy rashes. And that's a hell of a hex right there. Could someone tell me, Salome says, could someone tell me about their experiences with flying ointments? What? And this person, someone responds a name that I don't. Rendlesham Ulysite says, yes, but why spoil a good surprise? And Polyhymnia so that I thought I knew what they were like. I thought I was ready. One massive dose later, and I spent a year learning from the experience. And then Salome responds and says, ha 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 ha. I didn't mean like that. I meant more like precautions, how you used it, etc. There's different ingredients and whatnot. I keep finding, and I'm curious how other done it. As for the travel itself, I definitely don't want the surprise spoiled. And then Static and Scale says, honestly, my experience has been lackluster. I've tried 2 different types and never have experienced anything. I guess it's possible that I wasn't using enough, but I wasn't exactly skimping on it. I put it over major blood flow areas like wrists, neck, even over the third eye and temples. And Salome says, maybe the mixture wasn't strong enough? Are there sources online? And then Static and Scale says, they're trusted sources online. I use the Solanaceae ointment by Banefolk, which others had good results with. It has Belladonna, Datura, Henbane, and Mandrake in it. Banefolk. Let's check that out. Ointments. Banefolk. For the love of poison as medicine. For the love of poisonous flora, fauna, and fungi. We love fungi. Poison plant medicine. Poison plant growing guides. Coming soon. Let's visit the shop. They've got different poison ointments. That doesn't sound good. They're all out of stock. The poison path. Intoxication, seership, and the poison path. Am the seductive siren offering drink and smoke and unguent, soothingly saying to try and trust it will be pleasant and you'll be fine. I'll listen and trust, despite the mysterious twinkle of mischief in my eyes. I brew meads and potions in my witch's kitchen of bones and skulls. I blend herbs to smoke and burn incense. I craft witches' unguents of belladonna, datura, henbane, and mandrake, my beloved solanaceae, which I blend with rendered animal fats, bone dusts, and ashes of feathers for the arts of flying and shape-shifting. What? I grow the poisonous plants of ancient Europe in my garden. And I have wild mushrooms and stuff. And wild harvest the white-spotted red mushroom in forests of birch and fir with my sharp witch's knife. I am a priestess of intoxication, a seeress, and a poisoner. What? What about, I want to know about these flying potions. The path of poison. Whoa. Psychoactive plants. Great post. Let's see. Can we look up the flying one real quick? Is that possible? Flying ointments is medicine. Does that mean you're flying around? What does that mean? Flying ointment. Flying ointment is a salve made with rendered animal fat or vegetable oil which has been infused with poisonous psychoactive herbs. They were used for witches to fly to their Sabbath rites, to shapeshift into animals, to cause people to fall asleep. Holy crap. They were mentioned in Homer's Iliad. The flying ointment, deadly poisons, and well-known hallucinogens. They've been associated with witchcraft, lycanthropy, and madness. Nightshade. Don't mess with that stuff. Poison is medicine. So this is basically like tripping out. You take some of this stuff and you get the psychoactive ingredients and then you're just straight tripping out. That's what you need to do for the flying ointment. So that was fun. That's about all I'm interested in doing. For the Discord dump, the occult server and library. Go ahead and join that server if you're interested about magic and witches and stuff. Witches. Oh, la, 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 la. We got this. We're gonna post our sigil. I already said that. I'm checking out the sigil. All right, we're gonna post that. So, what else do we got here? Well, let's go ahead and do one more segment, and then we'll get the heck out of here, and then you'll be done with me for the week until you watch the cool stream. And let's see, do I have a sound for this one? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's the weird news. The weirdest news out there on the web. So the last weird news was about the ball and chain washing up on shore, and about how it was my ex-wife and all that. But in this episode, in this segment of the odd news, we've got this article here: disc-shaped object on Florida beach identified as African fishing device. So all this stuff is washing up on shore. What the heck? First it was the ball and chain, and now it's the fishing device. So, what is this all about? A mysterious disc-shaped object that washed up on a Florida beach was identified. It was identified, so it was not an unidentified flying object or an unidentified disc flying saucer. It was identified as a fish aggregation device that may have crossed the ocean from West Africa. The nonprofit Friends of Palm Beach, which regularly holds cleanup events on Palm Beach County beaches, said a resident walking the shoreline found a man-sized disc and took photos in hopes of identifying the object. It was an unidentified floating object that ended up on shore. It's a big metal disc, pretty much. It just looks like a big giant manhole cover or something. It's a fish aggregation device, a type of apparatus commonly used to attract tuna in the waters off the African coast. And then a professor says that they examined the device and found it was outfitted with a buoy and a GPS tracker to allow fishermen to find it in the water. So the discovery will help the project with their work in analyzing the environmental impact of such devices. And I guess they lost track of that. Their GPS, they couldn't find it. It ended up in Palm Beach, all the way from West Africa. So that's kind of interesting, huh? That's weird. A flying disc ended up on the shores in Florida. That's a great. Oh no, I'm checking out the Keep Palm Beach County Beautiful to try to find more about this flying saucer post. I'm scrolling down through here and we got one. It's a picture that says, "Garden should be only magic, no poison." We were just reading about how we want poison. We like poison because it makes us trip out and stuff. But according to this post here, no poison. It's got a little kid staring at a moth or something. I didn't know moths were poisonous. So that's kind of interesting. Weird stuff washing up on shore. Let's check out another weird news, because that one didn't quite bring it for me, although I did pick it out before I started the show. Police rescue hedgehog with head stuck in milkshake cup. That's pretty good. That's kind of fun. Police in Germany shared a photo from the rescue of a hungry hedgehog that got its head stuck in a discarded milkshake cup. Bremerhaven police officers found the hedgehog struggling to free itself from the cup in the middle of a road. Police said the hedgehog was apparently drawn to the smell of what was left in the banana-flavored milkshake cup after it was discarded. Officers were able to pull the cup off the animal's head, and the hedgehog was released into a nearby meadow. Now that's nice. The hedgehog had his head stuck in a cup. Anyway, that's the weird news. Here's some other weird news. Man bounces 5 ping pong balls into glasses in and 2 seconds. An Idaho man took the Guinness World Records by bouncing 5 ping pong balls into 5 pint glasses in only 2 seconds. Wow, I gotta see this. And you're not gonna see it because you're watching, but here's the video. He's doing it.
Top. 2.03.
Come on! Boom!
3, 2, 1, go. Top. 2.03.
Come on!
3, 2, 1, go. Stop. 2.03.
Come on! Boom! Come on!
2, 1, go. Stop. 2.03.
Come on! Boom!
3, 2, 1, go. Stop. 2.03.
Come on!
3, 2, 1, go. Stop. 2.03.
Come on! Boom! Come on!
Boom! I could just listen to that all day. I can just listen to that all day.
3, 2, 1, go. Stop. 2.03.
Come on!
2.03. Come on. Okay. All right. That's been it for the show. I'm thinking about maybe I should do an outro and then do the outro. So anyway, because I usually we'll end the segment, we'll do the last segment, and then we end the show with the outro song. And it's always kind of like, I just needed like a little bit extra time here. I needed about 3.5 minutes to sum up all the fun stuff that we did on the show and tell you why it was good and funny and worth listening to and worth subscribing on the cool Patreon, Cool Stream Patreon. So it was a fun show. We had a lot of fun talking about all the stuff that we did. We got to hear a cool podcast from the Samurai Nation Podcast Network, which is pretty cool. We got to check out John Tesh. We looked at some contests. We got to hear about the guy who bounced the ping pong balls in the cups in 2 seconds. So that was cool. Come on. And we got some weird news. We got all kinds of weird news.
You can see right out here, just beyond these lily pads, with the black.
And we read about the weird thing that washed up on shore.
Prehistoric fish with generally
Part of the
pointy scales,
weird
long,
news.
sharp snout full of teeth. They live in streams, canals, and lakes with mud or sand.
And now we're learning about some
vegetation.
kind of
You can see
fish
the
or
sand
something.
right out here where this guy is moving around. Adults primarily feed on fish.
Anyway, it's been a
Fish,
fun
not
show, and I wish I'd picked a shorter song, but this is a new outro that I'm trying out for the Cool Podcast. So anyway, let's just go ahead and end this thing. Thanks everybody for listening to the Cool Podcast. We'll be back next week for another episode. We'll be back for the Cool Stream
The cool
on
stream.
Sunday. That's going to be cool. We got some crazy stuff going on with that. Thanks for subscribing to the Cool Stream Patreon and listening to the Cool Podcast. We'll be back next week. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
That was a Samurai Nation podcast on the Samurai Nation Podcast Network.